welcome back to another Good For You Tip of the Week. Now, how do you know if you're consuming too much sugar? Anybody would say that if you add sugar to anything that tastes bland, it makes it taste so much better. But unfortunately, this is not good for us. But our body will give us crystal clear signs if we're consuming too much sugar. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing 9 signs that our body gives us to stop consuming sugar. All right, let's jump right in. Number 1, are you experiencing muscle and joint pain? That's because if we consume too much sugar, our body will release inflammatory chemicals in order to process that sugar. These inflammatory chemicals can lead to muscle and joint pain, arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, cataracts, memory loss, and even wrinkles. And nobody has time for extra wrinkles. All right, number 2, are you constantly craving sweet foods? That's because our body actually becomes dependent on sugar. So the more you eat, the more you crave. Sugar stimulates an area in our brain, which is the reward center. It's the dopamine center that gives us a pleasure of feeling. So the more sugar we eat, the more pleasurable we feel, therefore the more sugar we crave, and you can just see how this goes. All right, number 3. Do you experience energy highs and lows? When we consume excess sugar, our pancreas dumps out a large amount of this hormone called insulin. Insulin is responsible for taking the glucose or sugar molecule out of the blood and putting it into our cell so our cell can use the glucose to make our form of energy called ATP. The problem is when the supply of glucose runs out, we get a crash in energy. Therefore, it creates a craving of sugar again. And you can see this again becomes a vicious cycle. Number 4, do you experience constant skin breakouts? Remember how I was talking about an inflammatory effect? Well, sugar creates an inflammatory process in the body, and acne is a form of inflammation. So if you reduce the amount of sugar that you consume, you may be able to clear up your skin. All right, so number 5, have you experienced weight gain? All right, so back to the pancreas again. When we consume sugar, the pancreas is going to release this hormone called insulin. Insulin is a fat-storing hormone. Remember, it's going to take the sugar or glucose molecule out of the blood, put it into the cell so the cell can produce energy that we need. But if we're not utilizing that energy, it's going to store the sugar into fat for later. Yay for us! Not really. All right, number 6, experiencing tooth pain, tooth decay, known as tooth cavities. Well, this is for 2 reasons. The first reason is that sugar has been shown to promote tooth decay, but secondly, it's also the food debris that's left behind. So brushing and flossing regularly is very important to prevent tooth decay. Number 7, you actually create a high sugar tolerance. So the more that you eat, the more that you're going to want because your palate actually gets used to the amount of sweetness. So take, for example, if you eat a piece of fruit that has natural sweetness to it and you don't think it tastes very sweet, you need to detox the palate. How can we do that? Stay away from sugary foods, sugary drinks, and even artificial sweeteners. Also, maintain a well-balanced diet. And then in a couple weeks, go back to that piece of fruit and you'll see that it tastes much sweeter like it's supposed to. All right, so number 8, do you experience frequent colds and flus? That's because sugar has a direct effect on our immune system. The white blood cells are responsible for fighting off foreign invaders in our body. It utilizes vitamin C as its partner in good. But the glucose molecule resembles the vitamin C molecule. So when there's excess glucose floating around, instead of the white blood cells adhering to vitamin C, it adheres or attaches to glucose. Unfortunately, glucose have no foreign invader fighting effects, so it lowers our immune system. If you want to increase your immune system, eat fruits and vegetables that are filled with vitamin A, C, E, beta-carotene, and zinc. All right, moving on to number 9. Do you constantly feel bloated? Well, bloating and painful gases are produced because of bacteria that's in the large intestine. When you have too much sugar, the small intestine can't absorb it all. Therefore, it leaks into the large intestine, feeding these gas-producing bacteria. So we're basically creating the best petri dish for this gas-producing bacteria. So in order to reduce your bloating, reduce your sugar consumption. So you might be asking, how much sugar is too much? Well, according to the World Health Organization, they recommend that you do not consume more than 10% of your daily caloric intake in the form of sugar. That's about 2 tablespoons. They also recommend that the sugar comes from natural foods such as fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Remember, when you eat healthy, you feel healthy, and you look healthy. So making small changes, one healthy habit at a time, you'll make a huge difference in the long run. So if this video helped you in any way, please hit the like button, and thank you for tuning in to another Good For You Tip of the Week. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next week.